All right, fans, on the start line, 9,300-pound Super Farm Tractors. We've got Shane Maston, 35 minutes up the road, Niles, Michigan, the Thumpin' Pumpkin. All right, Shane Maston, that Thumpin' Pumpkin, our first hook, our test hook here in the 9,300-pound Super Farm Tractors here today. Now, that was the first machine that we actually saw go off to that left-hand side of the track. He started off in the middle part, and you can see his tracks as he's made his way down here. Got sucked over to that left-hand side, so we'll see what his option was. All right, fans, so we see our finish line flagman, Jerry Nelson, up there talking things over, conferring with Shane Maston whether or not he's going to take that run or he's going to turn it down and come back. Remember, he can drop 6 positions. He can come back last in the class, or he can come right back to the sled. It is his option on what he is going to do, or he's going to keep that hook. So we'll see what he has decided here today. So that means our first hook officially here in the Super Farm class going to be Cory Fritz, the tractor out of Boscobel, Wisconsin. This is the Twisted Deer brother act here out of Boscobel. Running for the first time out on the Champions Tour. Now, they started their season, the Super Farm Tractors, just this past Tuesday night up in Freeport, Illinois. And this is hook number 2 out of 9 for 2023. Very tough running tractor right here on the start line, fans. First time that he has been here in Goshen, Indiana. Once again, where's our John Deere fans? You guys out there, you've been a little quiet here this afternoon. All right, you got some to cheer for here in the Super Farm class. You got some tough ones. All right, good run right there. The Twisted Deer out of the state of Wisconsin, fans. Cory Fritz. Now remember, as our number 2 puller doesn't have that option, kind of the very unpopular draw, if you will, in the pulling sport goes. You only get to watch one vehicle, and you don't have that option whether you can turn it down or not. All right, pull distance comes in at 299.30. 299.30. For Cory Fritz this afternoon, 299.30 over on the Super Farm side. Hey, fans, well, they just keep rolling out here now. This class here, the Super Farm class, very well represented by the state of Wisconsin. Matter of fact, our field of 13, we've got almost half, 6 of them come out of the Badger state of Wisconsin. Of course, back when the Super Farm class started, did start up there in the states of Wisconsin, Minnesota, and such. So very popular up there, the Super Farm division, and a lot of them out here on the national tour, including this guy up here next, Brian Barman, the hooked up machine out of Middletown, Wisconsin. Brian finished up number 3 in the national points in 2022, his first year running out on the national tour, and was able to pick up a couple victories, and he's definitely looking for big things here in 2023. So Brian Barman, the hooked up International, 1466, just outside of Madison area, Madison, Wisconsin. Right, fans, at International 1466, and he kept it up on that right side of the track. And fans, over on the Super Farm side, we're going to have ourselves a new leader, and it's red. 306.54, Brian Barman. Blast into that number 1 spot, 306.54, over on the Super Farm side. So it looks like going to roll right along here to Rio, Wisconsin. The positive ground, Case International 3688. Now this is our 2019 points champion Chuck Enterberg with the positive ground, his 8th season of pulling competition here on the PPL Tour. And good to have him back here once again as a very tough group of those tractors out of the Badgers state of Wisconsin. And here's another one right here. All right, slack out of the chain, cinches down that 5-point safety harness. 306.54 is our mark to beat. 306.54. All right, fans, Chuck Enterberg churning the dirt out there as he makes a nice run with the positive ground. Case International here today. All right, fans, so 297.43, 297, and looks like another red one backing in over on the Super Farm side here, as we'll go to the state of Illinois here, as we've got Tony Isbell doing the driving. Marion, Illinois, the Dime a Dozen ride, owned by Jerry Barris, as Tony's been tapped to do the driving, the hired gun, if you will. Let's see where Tony has decided he thinks the best possible place to go here on this track this afternoon. All right, well, he's going to keep it right down the center here. Looks like he had the weight set just about right here. Now remember, you want to get it up around a foot and a half or so off the ground and carry it. The Dime a Dozen ride out of the state of Illinois. 301.07, 301.07. All right, fans, back over on the Super Farm side. Going to go back up to the state of Wisconsin one more time. This time, Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. Dan Vinny, the Crank It Up. Now, Dan and his brother Jason campaigned a couple tractors. They only brought the one down here, the Crank It Up, the 1066 International. Now, this was our 2017 points champion out there on the starting line. So, Dan Vinny, the only shot for the Vinnies here this afternoon. Let's see if he can get the job done. All right, looked like he had a nice bit of ground speed out there in the Super Farm class. For Dan Vinny, the Crank It Up out of Wisconsin. Like we saw in the two-wheel drive class, that's what got the win here. All right, looks like 296.87. The distance, 296.87 for Dan Vinny this afternoon, 296.87. Now, we saw on Shane's first run, the tractor kind of drifted off to the left-hand side of the track. You saw a lot of that dust kick up over there where nobody had been this afternoon. So I'm going to have to say, he's going to try to keep it, middle part or right side of the track here as he goes down here. So let's see what he's got for us. See if he made any changes on that tractor as far as the weight goes. Once again, 9,300 pounds, maximum weight of these tractors. Yeah, no doubt about it, fans. A much straighter run right there for Shane Maston. Let's give him a nice round of applause. We got any fans out here from Michigan? All right, good to have you on hand here this afternoon. Right, fans, distance over there with the Thumpin' Pumpkin tractor. Shane Maston at 300.90. 300.90. That'll currently put him in the number 3 spot. And I'd say that's probably the first time that he's had a chance to sit down all week right there, fans. No doubt. Fred going 100 miles an hour. All right, back over on the Super Farm. We've got Lee Butts. And press on. All right, tractors out of Michigan playing hardball here this afternoon. As Lee Butts out of Fairgrove, Michigan, the Press On International. Always a tough competitor no matter where he shows up, what circuit he runs. Definitely right there in the mix for Lee Butts. All right, fans, 295 and 47. 295 and 47 for the Press On tractor. 295 and 47 for Lee Butts this afternoon. As well, we've got our winner from the other night. Fans moving out on the track. Now, the other night up in Freeport, Illinois, about 250 miles northwest of Goshen, Indiana, this tractor parked itself in the winner's circle with the owner of the tractor, Nick Score, doing the driving. Well, this afternoon, Nick Score is standing out front of this tractor, backing in. The co-driver, we like to call him, Justin Johnson. Usually we got about 3 different guys that'll campaign this tractor. This afternoon going to be Justin Johnson doing the driving of the Screamin' Norwegian Case International MX 340. Now the Cottage Grove area just west of the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. And as you've seen this afternoon, kind of a hotbed for Super Farm tractors as well. So this tractor has been a 4-time national champion out on the circuit. Let's see if he can get the job done here this afternoon. The Screamin' Norwegian. All right, got after it, got it rolling. The big question, did he go far enough? What do you fans think? I think he's going to be a little bit shy. Looks like we're catching him around that 295 to 300 foot mark out here. Once again, the mark to beat, 306.54. Brian Barman, our current leader, with hooked up. 297.28, 297.28 the distance for the Norwegian. All right, fans, back over on the Super Farm side. It looks like we got Brett Weber with the Never Say Never International 1206, another 1206 this time out of Fort Branch, Indiana, just right around the Evansville area, down the southwest corner of Indiana. As he gets ready to go to work here this afternoon, once again, 306.54. That is the high water mark here. All right, nice run right there for Brent Weber. As definitely gets a hold of the track here today in our Super Farm competition. Now we talked about, the engine size, the turbocharger restrictions in this class, but all these tractors in this class are all diesel powered, no alcohol allowed. Now they also are not allowed the component chassis like we saw in our light super stocks, or you'll see in the unlimited super stock. Now fans, when we talk about component chassis, we're talking about an aftermarket basic racing chassis with a truck style rear end in them, and of course aftermarket transmission. So definitely a little bit more on the competitive side for the higher horsepower classes out there. So the distance here for Brent Weber comes in at 298.23. 298.23. Matter of fact, this John Deere 4450, our 2014 PPL champion back years ago. Hard to believe that was almost 10 years ago, but Michael was a champion back then, 2014. As hook number 10 out of the 13 we've got here in our Super Farm class. And once again, boy, I tell you, you think they'd wear out that starting line area right there, as we've seen just about every competitor we've seen go down that grandstand track here this afternoon has started over there, either towards that middle part or towards that right-hand chalk line. Not a whole lot of room to work with down there. Well, fans, we look down our lineup sheet here. We've got about 3 of the green ones to go. We've got a red one at 3:06:54. Where's our John Deere fans? One more time. Come on, John Deere. Let's see if we can get it done. Oh, that John Deere had some ground speed, fans. Definitely knows how to get the job done here in Goshen. A 2-time former winner back in 16 and 17. That John Deere 4450. Did he go far enough? .04 fans, 298.04, just outside of our top 5 here this afternoon in our Super Farm class. 298.04 for the tractor out of Franklin, Indiana. So first things first, we'll go to Jasper, Indiana, just northeast of the Evansville, Indiana area. Andy Schwank and that running Buck Wild, running ag repair business down there. John Deere 4455. 2 Deeres left to go in the international as well. And then we will move on into our unlimited super stocks, and we start to see the light pro stocks start to assemble down there in the staging lanes as well, as we start to wind down the afternoon session here. All right, track is clear. Green flags are out. Starting line flagman Mark Lowe throws that green flag, says, hey, we are ready. Bring it on down. Oh, you fans over on the infield side, you saw his left foot. Boy, he was hard on that brake up against that right-hand chalk line. And the pullers will tell you, you touch that brake, definitely will cost you in your distance. As he was stabbing it hard down there. Of course, any portion of that pulling vehicle touches that white line, you will be disqualified, so had to keep it in bounds. Yeah, no doubt, fans, definitely cost him in his distance. 284.43. 284.43. 3-time and defending class champion Josh Miley. He's cranked them out 2020, 2021, and 2022. He has been the points champion here in the Super Farm class, the high maintenance International 7220. Now, he started off his campaign Tuesday night up in Freeport, Illinois, with a 5th place finish to start out the season. Now, during the week, builds a lot of custom pulling parts, a machinist by trade as well. Does a little bit of farming as well to go along with it. Down there, Francisco, Indiana, once again, the southwest corner of the Hoosier State. Of course, Josh bringing along the next generation. His son Brooks been running out on the garden tractor circuit as well. So starting them young and getting them going, and definitely a great time there for the Miley family. But let's see if they can put it all together here this afternoon. 306.54 is our mark to beat, as Brian Barman has held on to that number 1 spot since hook number 3 here of this Super Farm class. All right, last tractor in this class out of the state of Indiana. How many fans out there want to see an Indiana tractor win it here this afternoon? Come on, let's hear you. All right, he's getting down there. The big question, did he go far enough? Gonna be right around that lead distance marker down there. Well, fans, it was a good one down there for Josh Miley. 300.49, 300.49. That'll currently put him in the number 4 spot here. So our final tractor here in Super Farm. All right, so we know one thing for sure. It's going to be a tractor out of Wisconsin. Going to win it here this afternoon. Now, the big thing, is it going to be a red one or is it going to be this green one on the starting line? Very tough competitor. Let's see what he pulls out of his back pocket here. Don Slama, the Fast and Furious out of Wisconsin. Oh, yeah, he's got it rolling. What do you think, John Deere fans? Did he do it? Did he pull the rabbit out of the hat this afternoon? Gonna wait on the distance. Had to go better than 306.54 to take the win. And he comes in at 299.16. 299.16 fans for Don Slama. Let's give him a nice round of applause here as that will conclude our Super Farm class here this afternoon. As we'll get our top 5 all calculated down here trackside, and we'll see if we can get Brian Barman up to the announcer's stand, have a word with him.
So it was an early hook in the class for Brian Barman, and he got the hooked up down there and out front, and then you had to wait. And so I caught you on the stage sitting and waiting. What was it like as you were watching all those bullets come at you?
Oh, it was tough. I mean, I know there's a lot of good tractors in our class, and being early and having to sit there through the whole class is pretty hard.
For you guys, too, this is just a great lift to your spirits because the beginning of the season in Badger State, it didn't go so great for you.
No, we were pretty much in the bottom 2 of the whole class, and we were trying to figure out what was wrong, and I think we were just fighting our own gremlins, and so it feels good to, finish like this.
Yeah, congratulations. You guys have figured it out. Let's hope it keeps the ball rolling.
Yeah, that is true. I'd like to thank some people, my father for coming with me, my wife and my kids being back home, taking care of everything. Our class sponsor, Fair Valley, that's some of the major people, so.